Please stay tuned for a brief message from Jimmy Aiken. This week is Sticker Week at StarQuest. We're mailing out our first batch of signed Mysterious World stickers to our newest patrons. Each month, we produce more than 50 hours of content that explores modern culture through the lens of faith and reason, and that's only possible because of the generosity of our patrons. There's still time to join before our Advent campaign ends at Epiphany. When you become a monthly patron at $10 or more, or increase your giving by $10, your gift will be matched up to $15,000, doubling your impact. And if you're among the first 400, you'll receive a Mysterious World sticker signed by Dom Bettinelli and me. Visit sqpn.com/give to become a patron today. Thank you.
Hello there. Obi-Wan Kenobi here, also known as James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan,
Jedi Master Plo Koon,
and many other characters in the world of Star Wars. You're listening to... Shh, don't tell. It's the secrets of Star Wars. May the Force be with you.
Hello there.
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
It's against my programming to impersonate a deity.
That's not how the Force works.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force, and I fear nothing.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
You're listening to The Secrets of Star Wars, where we talk about everything connected to that galaxy far, far away. From movies to books, TV shows, and more, we're looking at the deeper themes and meanings found in the Star Wars universe. And be sure to follow The Secrets of Star Wars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your favorite podcast app, or on the StarQuest YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia, on X, where we are at SQPN, or on Instagram, where we are at StarQuest Network. And be sure to get your official Secrets of Star Wars gear at sqpn.com/merch. And I'm your host today, Jeff Haecker, and joining me today is Thomas Salerno. Hey, Thomas.
Hello, Jeff.
And Robert King. Hey, Robert.
Hi, Jeff.
All right, so today we are continuing our discussion of Visions Season or Volume 3 with Episode 3, The Bounty Hunters. 7, an orphan raised by an assassin group, left after a Jedi spared her life. On the run, she works as a bounty hunter with her droid, IV-4A. They are hired as security by an industrialist, Jim Sim, but she learns that he is guarding against insurgents trying to get their enslaved siblings back. Ivy leaves, resenting that she has not removed his assassin programming when she works with the insurgents. Ivy returns when he learns Seven was trying to get the programming removed in time to help Seven fight the industrialists in a droideka mech suit. They defeat him and continue on their adventures. So a pretty short and sweet summary because it is kind of a very action-heavy episode, but what were y'all's impressions of this? I'll start with you, Thomas.
I really liked this one. I enjoyed it. I think as you and I, Jeff, were kind of discussing before we started recording, it's not too deep, this one, I don't think. It's very action-heavy, very action-oriented. I felt that out of the ones we've reviewed so far this season, this might be one of, with Four Wings, this one might be the most anime of the ones we've reviewed this volume so far. As we'll get into, many of the anime tropes and conventions are on full display here. I just thought this one was a lot of fun. And again, like I say with a lot of these, if they choose to do more with these characters, great. If not, that's okay too. But I just really enjoyed this one.
Awesome. And what about you, Robert?
Very similar. I really felt like this one was actually kind of begging to be the pilot for a longer series with these characters because it's sort of an origin story, and it's, then we're taking off into future adventures, and that the arc of that adventure is sort of laid out already for us. I have some mixed feelings about it because the anime tropes I think it leans into are not my favorite anime tropes.
Yeah.
So I like the characters, I like the situation and the setup, but like the over the topness of that it goes into and that it really leans into, and the very shorthand telegraphed character motivations. So I like these characters. I like the motivations that are put out there. I don't like the storytelling style. I don't like that particular style of anime, I guess I would say. That very high energy, high intensity, everything moves at the speed of light kind of trope. But that's me. I agree, Tom. It leans into those tropes. It does them. It nails them. Nailed it. So I think it does what it's trying to do. It just wasn't exactly to my taste. So, I
gotcha. Yeah, and so for me, this is one of my favorite episodes of this volume of the season. It's like we said, it's more action heavy. It's a very straightforward, simple story. There's not as much there's really not as many hidden layers or deeper meanings in this one. It's kind of a good guy versus a bad guy, or kind of gray area guy becomes a good guy for a minute and beats a bad guy and then moves on, which is classic Star Wars, and very similar to like the Mandalorian in that way. Like she's kind of starting out taking a commission and ends up saving her target essentially. So it just felt very Star Wars like that in that way for me. And just some notes that I took down on the production of this. It was animated by or produced by Wit Studio, who has made a lot of the big name anime in recent years. They did some seasons of Attack on Titan. They did Spy X Family and Vinland Saga, which I don't know if y'all know anything about those anime, but quite a eclectic set of different ones. It's probably most similar to Attack on Titan because that involves attacking giant monsters basically, and humans attacking giant monsters and zipping back and forth between buildings, and suspending a lot of disbelief. But
Vinland Saga's on my list because I think Father Roderick recommended it to me after he had seen it. So I'm definitely familiar with the names of these.
Yeah, and that's a good one too. It's a Viking anime basically, but yeah, this studio has a very deep pedigree of anime, especially action anime. So, and then I also wanted to note some of the actors. Seven is voiced by Anna Sawai, who was in Shogun and Monarch. IVA4 is voiced by Ronnie Ching, who he played a character in Godzilla vs. Kong that I don't remember, but he's probably most familiar from the but he's probably most popular for the Old Spice commercials that you see. He's the Asian actor in some of the Old Spice commercials that you may have seen. And then
he's been around. He's he's
in a ton of stuff.
Interior Chinatown. He's a commentator on the Daily Show. So he's quite out there. Yeah.
And then the Twi'lek grown up or adult sister is voiced by Jodie Turner Smith, who was in The Acolyte. She played Mother Anastasia. So just some interesting. So some good Star Wars connections there, or some good good connections there. So. But yeah, no, like I said, I really liked it overall, but I can definitely see how might not be everyone's cup of tea, because it is very, very action heavy, very leans into the droid stuff in this one, especially with the giant droidica mech at the end.
Yeah.
I will say all of the action is so well done. I mean, just like these iconic framings of the action, the droidica mech is amazing, and just so much fun. And when they're storming the insurgents hideout, and they just kick in the door, and it's the two of them there with their legs extended and the doors flying in, and just the action is really beautifully animated and framed and memorable. Yeah, the fights are great. And there are a lot of fights in it.
Yeah. Well, because it starts out they're being attacked in their ship by I think they're the Bashar group or the Bashar group. I don't know the spelling, which is I guess an Assassin's Guild type of thing that raised her as a child, but which we find out later that a Jedi came in and basically wiped out her. I guess all the adults in her sect of it, and so she's on the run. She's been on the run now on her own with this droid, and they're being attacked by these ships, and they're getting damaged and probably about to get blown up. But then IV activates his assassin mode because he has a split personality with his. I think he's supposed to be a medical droid, but then he has an assassin program that she had put into him to, I guess, support their bounty hunting. So what did y'all think of IV4 in this episode? His kind of little journey.
It just occurs to me that he's originally a medical droid, and yet IV, intravenous.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But no, I liked this character. He was definitely the source of most of the laughs for me in this episode. He has a lot of great one-liners. Speaking of one-liners, I like when he is in his assassin mode, he's clearly supposed to be doing kind of an off-brand Schwarzenegger impression. Well, he like talks like this, or like Sly or something, like a Schwarzenegger or Sly kind of
very 80s action hero kind of mode. Yeah. And his one-liners are great. He has got a very interesting design. That thing where his head turns around and he's a different personality has been in other stuff. I just can't put my finger on where I've seen that thing before, where the robot turns its head and it's a different personality. But
are you thinking of the Transformers, the original Transformers? I don't know if you saw all of it, but in the later seasons, they meet these alien robots that are basically do that. I don't know if that's what you're thinking.
Oh, the Quintessons. Yeah. I might be thinking of that.
It also kind of reminded me of the good cop, bad cop in the Lego movie, where he, if you've seen that, where he, he turns his head and he's the good cop, and then he turns his bad and he's the bad cop.
Yeah. As soon as we stop recording, I'm going to remember what it is, basically. But there's something from my childhood, some cartoon where there was a gimmick like that, and I just can't remember what it is. But yeah, I thought that it was an interesting way to kind of give us 3 characters for the price of 2. Yeah. I really liked the idea of the split personality, and that strangely both of them wanted the assassin protocol removed. Like the assassin protocol, the assassin IV4 wanted the assassin protocol removed, or at least wanted Seven to uphold her promise. And the medical side also wanted the assassin protocol. So it was interesting that you had this split personality, and the assassin protocol was absolutely delighting in violence and destruction and mayhem.
He reminded me of if you played Knights of the Old Republic, the Star Wars RPG game, it reminded me of HK-47, who's kind of like Bender from Futurama, of like kill all humans and only wants to cause violence kind of a thing.
Jedi meatbag or whatever he calls you.
Meatbags.
But it's I mean, he's just such a great chaos engine, and yet he also wants to restore the droid to its sort of proper form, which is interesting.
And
yeah,
he
it's almost
immediately he'll switch back very quickly. Like after they bust into the insurgent base, beat everybody up. Like he immediately goes back to his medical form. He's like, light abrasions and bruises detected. It's like,
yes.
Well, it's almost like IG-11 from the Mandalorian, where he's an assassin droid that's been reprogrammed as a nurse and he can still do both things, but it's
sort of the other way. Yeah. The mirror image. Yeah.
No, he was great. And because Jin Sun offers them a contract to basically, once they defeat the insurgents, to be their, like, they can work permanently as his security. And he wants the money because that will help her remove his programming. But, she, like with any of your, a lot of your morally gray characters, has a change of heart because she realizes that the insurgents are not in fact evil and insurgents, or they're insurgents, but not just because they're evil and they don't like the man or whatever. They want their people back. They want their younger siblings and family back. But even that's not enough to get him to stay. But then he finds out on the ship, he listens to part of a transmission of saying where she was trying to figure out where she can go to get this programming removed. So that's what leads to his change of heart. But what did y'all think of our heroine here of 7, her kind of journey in this? Because we do get her a little bit of backstory with the Jedi and everything too. So they pack a lot in these episodes. Like like y'all said, I would love to get this into a full series, but if they don't, then they don't, and we can kind of enjoy what we have. But what did y'all think of her journey in?
I like the flashbacks a lot. And like almost immediately it hit me with the flashbacks. There is very clearly the Latin Dies Irae chant in the background during those flashbacks.
With Latin lyrics.
Yeah. Dies Irae, Dies Illa. And Dies Irae is a chant from the old Requiem Mass in Latin. It means Day of Wrath. And we're very appropriate as this like building is burning down and everything's in flames, and like her old life has died essentially. Mm-hmm. So they're chanting this Dies Irae, which is a chant for the dead in the Requiem Mass. And then, by the way, having like Latin chanting in the background is a trope in some animes. Yeah. I've noticed. But yeah, I reckon I'm like, oh, that sounds like Latin. And I listened a little closely. I'm like, that's a Dies Irae. I'm like,
completely undisguised.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. What did you make of that, Robert?
I mean, there are so many. I mean, Star Wars has used the Dies Irae. Most franchises use the Dies Irae. It's one of the most common tropes that's musical lines that's quoted in movies and TV soundtracks to indicate death. But it's not usually quite so blatant as this. It's not usually like exactly the Dies Irae. Usually it's like, woven into another theme, or it's got, other orchestration that's coming behind it that a little bit disguises it. But here it's just full on the Dies Irae. I mean, it's profoundly effective to those who know their music history and who know their Catholicism, and it's such a haunting melody. I think it must be effective even if you aren't already familiar with all the symbolism and resonance that piece of music has.
Yeah. I've been to a few Requiem Masses where it's been used, and it's very effective. Yeah, it's very moving. Yeah.
Yeah, but we have in the flashback, we see that, I guess this is because we also don't know the time period of this. I mean, I guess in kind of how canonical it is, it could be, it seemingly is at least within the, Clone Wars era, if not earlier, because there's Jedi around and there's not a full Jedi Order around past. I think it could kind of fit in there, or it could kind of take place in the past too. I guess there's a droidica.
They mentioned the war, and there's a droidica, and they mentioned the Republic. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like ambiguous what the time frame is, and I don't think the folks who made it particularly cared.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter for this.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to really tie in. And that's what's great about these shorts is they can kind of explore things without, without worrying about breaking a canon. They can kind of do their own thing.
Right.
And if it's something that hits like The Ninth Jedi and they're making a full series of it, or it could be something where it's just, you get, 1 or 2 episodes, depending on how many more seasons of Visions they make. So
you asked earlier, Jeff, about her arc, Seven's arc. I just thought it was interesting that, she seems irked by the fact that this Jedi has freed her from her former life, because now she's always on the run. She's seen by her former comrades as a traitor when she doesn't think of herself that way. She's basically like, I didn't ask for you to free me.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting point of view.
Well, it could also be too that because she lived through it, that she's considered a traitor. Whereas, it could be something like you're supposed to, for honor's sake, you're supposed to die with your clan or die with your sect or whatever they call themselves. But she was a kid.
Even just that she was the one who survived. Somebody had to let the Jedi in. She must have betrayed them to allow the Jedi to so completely destroy that cell of the guild or whatever they are. I agree, Thomas. It's an odd thing, especially because immediately when she sees the slave collar on the little serving girl's, the Twi'lek serving girl's neck, you can see the wheels start turning in her mind, and she clearly recognizes that slave collars are not something that everybody is willing and excited to have on. It's not just a fashion accessory. But yeah, she doesn't seem particularly grateful, or she doesn't seem to want to have the freedom that the Jedi gave her. Which, on the one hand, the Jedi just sort of set her free and then walked off and left her in the middle of a burning building.
Yeah.
It's like, use your skills to do the right thing.
Bye.
Yeah, later, goodbye and good luck, keep warm and well fed, and does nothing to help her, actually survive.
Yeah, that Jedi was more in the Mace Windu school of Jedi than like your Anakin or someone who would like want, or Ahsoka who would want to help then, whoever they saved and make sure they're okay.
Libertarian Jedi, I have set you free. Now pull yourself up by your own bootstraps or something. Yeah, it's just kind of and yet even so, when it's every time I think I've ever seen someone who's enslaved be freed in a movie or a TV show or a book, like the first thought is gratitude. And that's not going on here. There's a resentment, like you say, she's irked by it. She's like, she wants to prove to the people who enslaved her that she did not betray them. And that's really interesting.
It kind of reminds me of Kira in the Solo movie, where she was kind of enslaved by the Crimson Dawn organization, but she kind of rose up within it to become a boss. And I guess as of the end of Solo is the second to, or is the underboss to Darth Maul. So it almost reminded me of that. It's like they get these kids, presumably they kidnap kids or they get kids in and raise them up, and they're enslaved at first, but then they eventually kind of, it could be kind of a cult thing. Like they eventually, because that's the only thing they know, they grow up in that, or they eventually buy into it themselves. And my only way forward is to succeed in this organization. So and if that's all she's known, it's like the Jedi robbed her of that future that the only future she could have known, because she reverts back to bounty hunting, which is, assassination in some cases, or, in her case, we don't know that she's killing anybody, and she does refrain from killing Jim's son in the end. So I guess she didn't quite make the, she didn't quite, get over or cross that bridge of into killing, as far as we know.
She's definitely reluctant to, she definitely has a moral code of some kind. And like when she's captured all of the insurgents and she's taking them in, and they say, just give me 30 seconds. And, Ivy says, it is, I forget exactly the line, but don't listen to your prisoners. Don't listen to the target. That's not recommended.
Yeah. We've taken a commission, and
yeah, she's like, I already was kind of suspicious to, coming into this. I'll hear you out. She literally flops in a chair and kicks her feet up and says, hit me.
Right. Because the offer she gets is almost too good. It is too good to be true.
Oh yeah.
So I think that immediately tips her off that like I thought this was supposed to be a simple job, and you're basically offering me everything I could ever want. Yeah, this doesn't smell right, Yeah,
along with seeing the slave collars, or the the kind of Fitbits, as the guy is describing. Oh, they're to monitor their health and their safety.
Yeah, and
really they are.
And like the rebels say, he offers you what you want so he can control you. It's kind of like, the tempter in the desert. I will give you all of this, if you just let me control your life, essentially, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But she ultimately does make the right decision in working with these people, working with the insurgents to free their siblings. But yeah, so
by the way, that was something I thought was interesting. I was expecting it to be parents, and when it was siblings, I'm like, oh, they subverted my expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
So I expected the insurgents to be their parents. Yeah.
Yeah, because they do say they're war orphans, so presumably these characters have all lost their parents or their other family in the war, maybe the Clone Wars, if that's the war they're talking about. So, but yeah, since we haven't talked about our villain too much, what did y'all think of him? He's just a nice, friendly, rich guy who's going to offer you anything that you want, and sounds perfect with no issues.
Yeah.
He
was very much a stereotypical anime villain, both in his sort of Mr. Nice Guy form, and then of course later he does what many anime villains do. He, like a light switch, he immediately goes into cackling crazy mode, or his eyes are bugging out. Yeah. And he's like, as soon as he gets into that mech, he becomes this unhinged, demented person. Very, very much something I've seen in other anime. It was fun.
I mean, he was very much a caricature of your standard, Gilded Age robber baron philanthropist, right? It's like, I will exploit all of the people in order to help them. I'm being helpful. I'm making things better for everybody. Why are you questioning this? Why are you questioning?
Right, he has his weird morality. Yeah. He's like, I'm offering them jobs and food and security and all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, but it's just to enrich you. It's you're not doing it because you care about them.
Yeah, it's not actual concern for their welfare.
Yeah, Yeah.
It's that little children are better at dealing with hazardous materials than droids are.
It's cheaper to feed them than it is to maintain the droids.
Yeah.
But he does offer the droid that, I guess, the premium oil or whatever.
Yeah.
Which that reminded me of
yes. I know what you're going to say.
That Mandalorian episode where they have the droid bar.
Yeah, and they're all and he's like remember he's so they're investigating that one droid. He's like, what did he order? And they're like, no, you don't get it. They all drink the same stuff.
I mean, it goes back to the original movie where it's like, oh, this oil bath is going to feel so good.
Yeah.
But he's not. I guess, not drinking oil.
Well, no. So I guess that this guy's business they do serve their kind there.
Yeah.
We don't serve your kind here. It's like, no, that was interesting.
Yeah, he'll serve any kind to get his money and to get what he wants because like you said, Thomas, he's very much your anime. He's going to smile and be, Mr. Geniality until that switch flips. So,
yeah, and maybe this is too spicy, but I feel like when they hand him over to the Republic, he's just going to be like, "Oh no, give me some government post. I can straighten out your government spending for you."
Well, and for what we've seen of the Republic, they just might do it.
Yeah. and either Republic, no matter which one it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he ultimately we get to see him in his big golden droid mech suit or droideka mech suit, which I thought was
it's golden. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's gold plated.
Yeah.
And it's not even just
everything
the droideka
gold for this guy.
Yeah. But what did y'all think of kind of the final, I know it's mostly action, but the kind of the final battle where they're because Seven brings in the insurgents, quote unquote, but rejects the deal and lets them go find their siblings while she fights Jimson. And then he calls down his he summons his mech suit to wear. So and then she has to fight just on her own. And at this point, Ivy had left, so she's on her own, she thinks.
Did they change the weakness of droidekas? I thought that like any slow moving object could roll under the shield. I didn't know you had to do it from the back.
I think I don't remember. I think going from the back is usually the way they do it because then the droid doesn't see it. But it also looked like she was rolling it too fast because it kind of bounced off the shield a little bit. And the thing with the droidekas is you have to like slowly, granny roll it under them in order to make it through the shields.
Yeah, it wasn't clear to me why the first one didn't get through. My first take was she didn't roll it far enough, like it stopped short of the shield, but it equally could have been going too fast and just bounced off the shield and stopped. In any case, she had a second chance.
She had a backup
plan. It looked like the first one was like your standard thermal detonator that just blew stuff up. The second one seemed more like an ion charge or something that a
droid popper, they call them in the Clone Wars, right? Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then she brings the roof down with more charges on top of the droid too. So.
Oh, that reminds me. In the beginning, when they're trying to escape the starfighters that are chasing them, and they shoot the seismic charge out the back, and it goes off in spectacular fashion. And she's like, "Ooh, that was so expensive."
I loved that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, because she could only afford, I guess, one of them.
Probably, yeah. I do like how cash strapped they are. I think that's something that we've a little bit been missing from a lot of Star Wars, whether it's like the mainline Disney stuff or from even other Visions things. Is just the restrictions that you get under if you're trying to run a business and you got to make ends meet and you got to cut corners somewhere because your income isn't matching your expenses and just that kind of penny pinching, gotta keep every get the maximum value out of every single thing. I thought that was fantastic. And the software dealer, was like, don't know why anyone would spend that much on a mere droid or something, talking about getting the assassin package fixed or removed. I thought that was fantastic. It brought a level of groundedness and realism to her character and to the story that was completely upended in that final fight. Because here she comes in with literally a handful of insurgents with blasters, and they take on this entire facility of military grade droids and security, and they come out on top, and it's just like completely unbelievable. And yet it's choreographed so beautifully and dynamically that it's like, I don't care that this is like your David versus Goliath in a completely unrealistic way. I'm on board for this. It's just the frenetic action was amazing.
Yeah, well, it's classic Star Wars. It's your big guy versus your little guy, and the little guy's you want the little guy to win, so they have to win.
Yeah.
But I thought the end was interesting, where the droid, where Ivy comes back, and they're in their final showdown. She's got the gun to him, but Jimson's gonna blow up the collars if she doesn't back down, and the droid has to be destroyed. And so she shoots, or I can't remember if it's she or Jimson shoots Ivy, but he doesn't know of the split personality. And that's what saves them in the end is the assassin package that he has.
Yep.
So like shooting him only kills one personality. I was like,
that's how it works, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
I would have shot his tablet that he had. Oh, I press his tablet and it'll set off all the bombs. I'm like, well, if I just shoot the tablet, unless that would set off the bombs.
Yeah, it might be like a dead man switch.
Or I could shoot you, and then you can't press. But no,
well, he's got his own Fitbit that would.
I guess.
Yeah, he's got his own Fitbit that would detect it probably.
The Fitbit dead man switch. Yes.
Yeah. I guess I just took it as like as shooting, medical Ivy. It shut that side of him down and let the assassin, like, it wasn't like a destruction. It was more just like, because Jimson doesn't know that he has the assassin part of him. So he's thinking, I'll just shoot the droid and it'll be fine. But it's like IG-11, like he can get shot multiple times and can reroute his systems. So I think it's just like that. Like he didn't know he was an assassin droid, basically.
And it was clearly a moment of like reestablishing the team.
Yeah.
Like, the medical droid says, no, this is the recommended procedure. Shoot me. And she's like, okay, I know this, we've done this thing before. I know what we're doing. I'm going to shoot you. And so it reestablishes the team. It's a bit that deceives the bad guy and gets them the advantage. I thought it really worked as a character moment. Despite again, how utterly unrealistic it would be. Have we in the past 30 seconds or minute just thought up 5 different better ways she could have done this? Yes, we have, but it wouldn't have established the character moment that they wanted to do. And that's the more important thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that kind of led me to some, just before we kind of get to the very end, is how droids are being portrayed not only in this episode but in this series of Visions, because in this episode it's IV, and he has an agency. He's not just her, servant. He doesn't want to be an assassin. He has an agency and a desire that we don't see often in some droids. We do see that, especially as they become like main characters, but he has his own agency and desire not to be this. And then we've seen in the last couple of Visions, we had the one in the Four Wings, who kind of was I forget the character's name, but was the princess's little buddy, and would kind of become the mech suit.
Tortu.
Tortu, yeah. And then we saw in the last one, Teto was the who in the Ninth Jedi had his mission of wanting to see his master again. So we've seen droids. I don't know if they're specifically coming, and not all the ones in this set of episodes have droids in them, but I just thought it was interesting that recently in these, droids have kind of played a pretty big part, and I think the next one as well. But droid plays a pretty big part in that. So I don't know what y'all, any thoughts on the droids, just the recent, large number of droids in this, or is it just Star Wars and showing us cool robots? Cause that's one of the hallmarks of it.
It's definitely a hallmark of Star Wars is the droid and the kind of gray area of, how much moral agency do these droids have? Are they fully persons? Are they not persons? And yeah, Ivy both quits and walks away and takes the ship on its own initiative. And as soon as she's back on the ship, it says, "This was my ship until you got back here."
Yeah.
as if the presence of a human or an organic life form immediately took precedence over a droid. So yeah, there's something interesting. There's a statement going on here. I'm not sure how conscious or deliberate it is, but there's yeah.
Yeah, in recent Star Wars we've seen some of that, right? Like in Ahsoka, you had in the courtroom scene the bickering over whether C-3PO is actually empowered to give testimony. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, give me a break. Your civilization has existed for 25,000 years, and you still haven't decided whether there's precedent for a droid to act as a proxy to give testimony in a courtroom. Like, no, you've already figured this out by now. Like, but yeah, like there's been some interesting stuff in recent Star Wars surrounding droids, and if it was me and I lived in this universe, I would kind of err on the side of like an animal, I shouldn't do something to a droid that is going to cause it undue quote unquote suffering, but that it's not a person. But that I should treat it with respect, almost like another non-human living being. But and I think we've tackled this before in other episodes. But yeah, it's interesting that we've seen this in kind of recent Star Wars. Them discussing the status of droids, because in the original Star Wars, it's clear that droids are property and they're not allowed to enter certain spaces. And, and some people in this universe have a problem with droids being in human spaces. And I think even in the Acolyte recently, they addressed the idea that droids would be taking some people's jobs, or they give certain people jobs that would normally be delegated by a droid because it's cheaper to expend the human. And then of course you had the droid workers revolt in Solo.
Yeah.
Remember on the freedom, and they're like the sort of droid worker to create the droid proletariat, I guess, on that planet. Yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, well, yeah, I haven't rewatched the rest of Visions yet, so I'll be curious to kind of pay attention to that through line of how droids are part of it. I think there's at least a couple more where droids play a role. So, but yeah, this episode kind of wraps up with after they after Ivy's assassin programming kicks in and he stops Jimson, and then they're going to turn him over to the authorities and give Eno a piece of art, I guess, that's gonna that they're gonna sell and to feed all the kids, I guess, is the implication.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which I just had the thought of, like, they're going to have to sell this in an art gallery or fence it or something. Like,
I know.
You have random insurgents.
Yeah.
How are they going to, they don't have Luthen Rail there to help them. So.
Yeah. And it's already like stolen goods, I guess. So like, or did he get it at auction? I can't remember. I don't know. But like,
I mean, I would think he probably got it at auction, because I think they said it fetched, whatever millions of credits at the last time it was at auction.
Yeah.
Or something. But
which is a really oddly specific piece of information for her to have, like, just off the top of her head. It's like, oh, this piece of art that I recognize sold for this at auction. And
well, the droid, Ivy said that, I think. So he had, I guess he tapped into the internet.
The holonet. Hopefully Thrawn doesn't show up for it. Add to his art collection.
Oh man, that would be crazy. But I would love, yeah, he might want it for his art.
He's the one guy you don't want to show up at your art gallery auction. Is Thrawn, because he'll show up with stormtroopers. Yeah. I'll take everything, please.
Yeah.
And the artists as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, but at the very end, Seven and Ivy, they, get on their ship, which we haven't talked about the ship. I think it's a really cool one. It's got,
cool
it's kind of got the Harrier jet kind of engines where they can go, it can go vertical and horizontal, using its engine. They kind of turn like that. So I thought it was a cool ship, kind of a fast and, kind of like it's like your typical bounty hunter ship. Like it's quick and meant for combat. So, the Sandbird, I think the name was. It had a strong
Razor Crest vibe for me.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Just with like the rotating engines. But yeah. And I think it was called the Sandbird was the name of it. I don't know if there's any deep layer there, but, to uncover, but that was the name of it.
Nothing I'm familiar with, but there could be.
Yeah. If you know out there, let us know. Yeah, I mean, anything else, any final thoughts as we kind of wrap up, since, I mean, this one was mostly action, but, still had some good layers and themes to it.
I mean, the one thing we haven't talked about is the masks. And there was that a couple of moments where she takes off the mask from the Twi'lek insurgent, the sister, and then later her own mask gets taken off in the fight. And I mean, this is a long-standing trope in Star Wars, right? But the taking off the mask to reveal your true identity. Who are you really underneath? And I thought that, combined with the split personality of the droid, I don't know if it went too deep, but it raised ideas and questions of identity and, who are you? Who do you say you are? Who do we know you are by your actions? That kind of thing. So I thought that was nicely done.
Yeah. Anything else from you, Thomas?
Okay. Yeah. After my tech difficulties, it's the dark side of the Force interfering here. Final thoughts. Yeah. Really liked this episode. Great stuff. A lot of fun. I agree with what Robert said. It did seem kind of like a pilot. So if she still hasn't found that Jedi and given her a piece of her mind, as she says. So, if they choose to bring these characters back in a future volume, great, terrific.
Awesome. Yeah. I would agree. Like they could definitely make a series out of this, and it's just kind of almost like the Mandalorian of her going, episode to episode, chasing a commission or a bounty and, discovering more about herself along the way. And yeah, I'm probably not saving a baby Yoda though, but yeah, maybe something else, but
saving the murder droid.
Yeah, there you go. That could be the mission is getting Ivy his programming removed, but we will see. So, all right. Well, I think that is it for this episode of The Secrets of Star Wars. We'd like to take a moment to thank all of our patrons who make this show possible, including Mark M, Andrew B, Tristram C, Nate and Jessica V, and Daniel B. Their generous donations help us to create The Secrets of Star Wars and all the shows here at StarQuest. And you can join them at sqpn.com/give. And now we'd like to hear from you, our listeners. What do you think of the Bounty Hunters? You can let us know by sending us an email at starwars@sqpn.com, on our social media pages, or by leaving a comment on our channel on the StarQuest Discord server, which you can find at sqpn.com/discord. So join us next time for the discussion of the next episode of Visions, Yukio's Treasure. Until then, thank you, Thomas Salerno, for joining me and sharing the secrets of Star Wars.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
And Robert King, thank you as well.
It's been a great conversation. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And once again, I'm Jeff Haecker. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Star Wars on StarQuest.
Here's another show on the StarQuest network you're sure to enjoy. The Secrets of Stargate. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/Stargate.